Hello everybody. We're going to try and wrap up this video series with one more, and we're going to be looking at the allies. There are more allies than Central Powers, though for some of them, like Italy and the United States, the strategy is going to be fairly straightforward. So I don't think it'll take too much time. So to start with, we are going to be looking at capitals. That's where we have to put our units, as well as India, and we're going to see what our options are. So if we're Russia, we really only have one direction that we can go. Well, I mean two, I guess, if we count the Ottomans, but because it takes units so long to get down here, we're probably not going to be doing too much against the Ottomans. We might send our guys from Sevastopol down here and move guys from here down, but we're not going to have a ton, and we're not going to be able to reinforce much. So we're going to be getting Romania. We might harass the Ottomans a little bit, and the rest of the time we're going to be focused to either defending or trying to move in over here. And we're just going to see, what options present themselves. If it looks like the Central Powers are going this way, then we're going to be more aggressive. If it looks like they're coming this way, we're going to be more defensive. Now, we're going to come down here to India. Because England is not able to swiftly move over here, because they can only move land units one space at a time, we are going to just be harassing the Ottomans. We're going to use our navy, our couple of transports we have. We'll move from here over here. Maybe we'll land up here if Russia comes in. We'll certainly go after Arabia. We want to be positioned so that at a moment's notice we could hit them along the coast. Excuse me. And we're just going to try and be annoying, try to use minimal forces, but our improved mobility, or our advantage in mobility over the Ottomans, to just keep them reacting to us so that they can't move anything really up here or help the Austrians. We're not going to expend a ton of resources over here for that, but we may spend some over here. As with tournament rules, we are just trying to wait out the clock. Well, we want to try and keep Russia alive if we can, and a big part of that is going to be keeping the Ottomans from really doing anything effective, and then we're going to wait for the U.S. to come in the war. If all of the allies are in decent shape and America comes in, then we've done what we need to do. Now for Italy, there are, aside from harassments against the Ottomans maybe once in a while, we're going to be focused on this front over here, either defending ourselves or moving to Austria, and maybe landing some guys in Albania to move up this way. Now you do want to keep in mind that because sea ports do not block movement any longer, if we move our navy over here and like a France or an England isn't here, the Austrians could come down here and attack Rome. Now, unless they build transports, they're only going to have one transport, and all of our units are going to go down in Rome. But that's something that we want to be aware of, just in case. We don't want to be caught off guard. But there really isn't anything else for Italy to do based on where it puts its units. And now, because it's in the Mediterranean, if it does have transports, that gives it some other options. It can get away, but if it's moving by land, really, this is its only front, and a very close area that it could use its navy for is Albania coming up this way. But Italy is really going to be over here in one fashion or another. Now, when it comes to France, France's main force is going to be going this way. It puts all its units in Paris. It's going to take them a little bit longer to get to Austria, though you could go Burgundy, Switzerland, move into Austria. You could also move up into Germany. Berlin is going to be kind of far away. You're going to have an easier time, of course, if the Central Powers are going against Russia versus you. If they're going against you, you're going to be defending. England is going to spend whatever it's not spending in India, which should be the majority of its production, and is going to be trying to fortify France. Now, again, because naval bases do not stop movement. England could try and come over here and be annoying or do a landing up here. Germany's going to be placing all of its units in Berlin, so it's really unlikely that England's going to be able to come over and like sack Berlin, unless it has a huge navy. It could try and maybe contest it or something. But remember that artillery get that bonus against amphibious assaults, so probably not likely. But England and France are going to work together to fortify, or either fortify this front if the Central Powers are coming this way, or they're going to work together to move this way into Germany and then Austria-Hungary, depending on what is most useful at that time. If they have enough forces, maybe France moves this way and England moves this, or I'm sorry, I had that backwards. Maybe England moves up here because it's closer to its supply lines and France tries to move this way. Or maybe they work together because Central Power defenses are a little bit more sturdy. But that's going to be the story, so maybe that's a little more historically accurate, with the British having smaller forces over here, just trying to chip away at the Ottomans, keep them from doing much, and then if the opportunity arises, squeeze in and start taking them out, whereas the main fighting is going to be over here. Now, there is one other thing that the Allies could try and do, in addition to this stuff down here with the Ottomans. If the Central Powers are going after Russia, England might not need to fortify up here, and that's okay. In that case, England may put more guys in India, but the goal is not to head this way. The goal is to head up this way. Now, if you want to pursue that strategy, you're going to have to do it very early. You're going to have to make that decision, because it's going to take you a number of turns to get up here. So let's say you go here to Afghanistan, that's 1, 2, 3. You can get to Moscow on turn 4. Now, you may remember on the Central Powers video, I was saying, that's way too long. It took the Ottomans about that long, 4 or 5 turns to get to Switzerland, and that's not good enough. Well, if you're the Central Powers, you need to win as quickly as possible. If you are the Allies, time is actually on your side. So as long as you are confident that you can hold everything, you are actually okay moving up this way. As long as Russia doesn't fall before you get there, or France doesn't fall because you're not reinforcing over here, it's actually okay for you. Because the longer the game goes on, if you have all of your allies together and then the U.S. comes in, that's going to help you a great deal. Now, for the U.S., has a couple options. I mean, it could move down here into North Africa or try and clear out the Mediterranean if the Central Powers were building navy. That's unlikely. It's unlikely that the Ottomans are going to be pressing over this way, though if they are, of course, the U.S. can come in here. However, what is much more likely is that the only real place for them to send their units is going to be up here in France. Now, depending on what's going on, maybe they and or England start shuttling guys up here with their navy to help shore up the Russians, depending on that situation. Maybe they try and push in through here, land in Poland or Livonia or something to be a little closer to the front. They certainly could do that. If France is secure, then that's probably a better option than just building up, because the Central Powers can try and do that. You want to try and take back Russian territories that the Central Powers controlled, or force the Central Powers to split their units all over the place and then use your superior mobility, kind of like we talked about with the Ottomans, with your transports, to hit them elsewhere. Because it's not as efficient to defend everywhere, but if your enemy can hit you in multiple spots, then that puts you, if you're the Central Powers, in a tougher spot than if you only have 1 or 2 places you need to defend. So those are my thoughts as the Allies. Hope you all enjoyed this video series. If I missed anything glaring in this series, please let me know. Like I said, I don't normally play out of the box rules. But after reading through the book a couple of times and thinking about things and arrangement and speed and things like that, these are my thoughts. So I hope you all have an excellent weekend.